Now we're there. Okay, hi. Good morning, everybody. Had a technical problem. That wasn't on me. That was on my syndicator. Okay, well, I was talking for a couple of minutes. Nobody heard me. I don't have anything good to say anyway. Good morning to you. It is 8:03 on a Tuesday. We'll try it again. It's 8:03 on a Tuesday morning, August the 12th. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. Of course, the big weather story continues to be the tropics heating up, potentially the first hurricane of the season trying to get its act together. There's Tropical Storm Erin, 5 o'clock advisory, showing winds at 45. It's trucking along at about 22 miles an hour. I would also add that it is not looking the best right now. The um, convection, you can see those reds and greens and kind of purplish shades. They're not looking all that impressive. The storm is dealing with some wind shear at the moment. There, got that fixed. Okay, sorry, had to fix the quality of the image. But yeah, the convection's kind of succumbing down to some dry air and Saharan dust in the area. So Erin is not looking like it's going to rapidly intensify, but the overall forecast here over the next couple of days does give some intensification. And eventually we get this up to a category 1 hurricane. And then eventually, computer models are saying that this becomes not only a hurricane, but a major hurricane by late Saturday, early Sunday, becoming um, a hurricane of Cat 3 intensity. So there you go. There's the forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center. It's too early to tell. A lot of people are asking, like, is it going to hit us? Is it not going to hit us? And the reality is, it's just too early to give you a real good idea of what Erin's going to do in the long term. Now, we can look at the models. We'll certainly do that together. Here's a look at the computer forecast models, and you'll notice that the models go out further than the cone. You notice that there's a definitive recurvature, so that's good. Jeannie Rowan, why are we whispering? Is it a secret? I'm whispering because I'm in a studio where we're broadcasting the news. So that's why I'm doing it. Still not hyping and still not panicking. No, we're just watching the stuff, right? So that's a look at the computer forecast models as they stand right now. One thing that I did a lot last year and I wanted to start doing again this year is looking at the consensus models and look at the different trends. So what we're looking at here essentially is we take all of those spaghetti plots, take all of them, and we distill them down to single lines. That's the consensus. That's the median of all the runs. And what we're looking for in particular here are there trends. Okay. For example, that's the most recent. That's the run before. That's the run before. That's the run before. That's the run before. That's so yesterday there was a definitive shift off to the west, and then it started to come back east just a smidge in the 6Z run. So we're watching it, and essentially, a little bit of a nudge to the west and then back east. The windshield wiper effect is absolutely kind of the idea. You can see though, as it fades, those are the older runs. So that's kind of the idea there. But at least that gives you an idea of what direction the models are actually going. Are they nudging one direction? Are they nudging a different direction? That sort of thing. Now that said, that's just one way that we can kind of watch this and follow along. At the end of the day, though, it's all going to, I think, come down to how strong does Tropical Storm Erin get. There's a look at the intensity forecast models. We're definitely watching this becoming a hurricane, major hurricane in the ballpark. Watching those models by Sunday into Monday, really following what the National Hurricane Center's forecast is calling for. So I think that they're right on the money, both in intensity and in timeline. They don't need my approval, but they get it for what it's worth, right? But this is going to be one of the big players, is the Coriolis force. One of the things that we're going to need to watch because the Bermuda high's there. If it's stronger or weaker, that's going to adjust it as well. But if the storm gets stronger, then you tap into that Coriolis force where it wants to recurve. If it's weaker, it's going to want to go more west. So remember, weaker goes west when it comes to these storms. So truthfully speaking, we want this thing to become a beast of a hurricane. The quicker, the better, because that will help it pull that recurvature and stay out to sea away from anybody, including our friends in Bermuda. So let's hope that that persists, right? Questions so far? We've got fake intern. Ryan here. Say hello to fake intern. He was a real intern.
Ended Friday.
And his real internship ended Friday. And what did somebody here on staff say to you on Friday?
I'll see you next week.
That's Told him I did the same thing when I was an intern, and then they ended up finding something for me to do. So there you go. Anyway, fake intern's working on something pretty great. So there's that. But let's look at some of the model data and kind of get an idea of what's ahead for this thing, okay? First off, the operational 6Z GFS running through time. There's the storm. There's the recurvature. Love that. And I'm just going to keep running the model just so that we can see. Nothing beyond to August 28th. At least nothing major for us. All right, that's the GFS. Let's look at the European. Rolling through time. There's the storm system there on the right side. I have to go to the 0Z to go any further. Now, the Euro is getting a bit closer to the Outer Banks, right? There's the European. Let's go back to the GFS, right? The GFS is much quicker and keeps it way further out. But we'll go back to the European. European has a second system coming in around the 26th there. Weaker, but it's there, right? All right, let's look at the Canadian. Rolling through. There it is. Getting pulled up. And then the Canadian also has that secondary system there. All right, ensembles. That's what fake intern's working on. Being able to show ensembles on our main weather system. All right, there's the ensembles. Tight, very tight. So through hour 132, which is here, that's 18Z. So that's 2 p.m. on Sunday, the 17th. There it is, starting to spread a bit, but just about everything strong, keeping it off of our shoreline. So for the most part, is the eastern seaboard clear? No, but for now, the ensemble members thankfully keep this east of us. All right, let's back it up. Let's switch over to the European ensembles. All right, that's as far as that run goes. European, still unsure. Very tight agreement until it's not, right? So I think that that's going to be the big thing is we don't know exactly where it goes. Does it make landfall anywhere or not? All we know is there's a reason the Hurricane Center only forecasts out so far because the confidence is just not there any further out. Okay, and I think that that's the very important thing to remember. Okay. All right. 4 words for Floridians: weaker west and a bear box. Yeah, right. Agreed. Please no a bear box. No, 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 no. Golly, no. No, I don't think it's anywhere near the a bear box. It's gonna make me pull up that graphic. I haven't used that thing in a year. Hold on, I'll pull it up. Tropical track, Erin. Da, 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 da. So there's the path. So it should not cross the A bear box. Isn't that funny? These people know about the A bear box. I love that they have been trained, nerdologically speaking. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the A bear box, the A bear box is statistically has been where most storm it was at one point all and then it became most, but most storms that cross those two A bear boxes strike Florida, but they have to be major hurricanes at the point of striking. And there's the A bear box. First off, it would be a major hurricane in that vicinity, but it is not. I mean, it's in the realm of possibility, but it's not expected to. That's the difference. So anyway, for what it's worth, hopefully it doesn't. Because if it does, then we have to start watching the daggum thing a little closer, we'll say. All right. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at. The good news is it's not something that's looking like it's threatening us. All right. Storm system kind of ragged for now, but it's developing banding features. The fact that it's still overcoming the obstacles that it's dealing with, I think is pretty impressive. All right, back here at home, stormy weather. 93, a 70% coverage of showers and thunder showers. And then rain chances are going down as temperatures are starting to build up this week. It's going to be a big warm up. Let's do this. Let's dial up our future cast. And let's see what the doctor ordered. All right, so this morning looking pretty good. Couple of coastal showers trying to pop on up. 1:30, 2 o'clock, seeing some rainfall, right? 3, 4 o'clock, storms around, moving inland. 5, 6 o'clock, 7, 7:30, right? We see those storms, and then by about 8, 9 o'clock, starting to fade out. So, like yesterday, I think everything wants to work out west. The big difference today versus yesterday, I think, is that at the end of the day, it's earlier storms today. All right. So, there's your out the door forecast, my friends. Questions, comments, concerns? A third gen tropics mega nerd, Christy says. Oh, yeah, I gotcha. Debbie's asking for the coastal 7-day forecast. Of course. Of course. All right. There's your coastal 7-day forecast. All right. I've got to run, people. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I'll see y'all later. I've got weather. I'll see you later. Take care. Oh, tracking the tropics at 10.